Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is episode 3 of Real Talk Football. I'm here with my guy, Rock Too Easy, and this is your other
What's up?
co-host. This is your other co-host, KG, in the building. I want to thank you guys for returning for another episode of Real Talk Football. And guess what? You got to hit that follow button on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. You got to hit that like, share, and subscribe. What you want to do is we want to real quick before we start our show give a real quick shout out to our guys Will and Carlos on Real Talk Baseball. If you're a real baseball fan, check them out on Real Talk Baseball. They talk about fantasy, certain decisions you should make during your fantasy baseball season. My guy Rock Too Easy, what's going on, man? How you doing on this Friday night, man?
What's the deal, Dougie? I'm chilling. TGIF. I'm feeling good. The weather ain't so swell, but it ain't cold. But we good though. We good.
Yeah,
It's the weekend. Got my little sippy, but we gravy, baby. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. Had a little bit of, I'm gonna be honest. Keep it a bean. Had a little rough week at school,
Yeah.
a little crazy day today. But listen, it's Friday. Got some little bit of family time when I came in. Got to spend some time with my little ones, and now we gotta get this on and pop and give the people what they want.
Yes, sir. Let's get to work, baby. Let's get to work.
All right, man. First, we're gonna start with we had a little bit of you know we had some follower interactions, and we had some questions for them. So we gonna see what the people said this earlier last week about the certain questions they had. So let's start with that first one. Pop that graphic up there. We asked who should be the number one pick, whether it was Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels. The overwhelming favorite obviously was Caleb Williams. Everybody's loving him right now and what he brings to the table, but don't count out the Heisman winner and Jaden Daniels. 87% goes to Williams, 13 to Jaden. What you think? What are your thoughts on both of these quarterbacks?
Of course, they're gonna go with that Caleb Williams due to the hype that he's been getting for the past few years. I don't think Daniels has been getting that just due love, and it's so crazy. And when I say that just due love, obviously he's getting it in college because he's won the Heisman. But as far as media push and media outlet and everything, as far as that goes, they're riding real hard for Williams. So with that being said, I see why the percentage is what it is.
Right. I hear you. I like both guys. I do, like I said, when we talked about Caleb and we talked about Jaden in our first episode, and I told you Jaden's going to be a star, and I told you Caleb is going to be a bust. That's just my thoughts. I do think whether Jaden or Caleb get drafted first overall, they go to a great situation in Chicago with all the weapons surrounding them on offense, and then their defense getting better and getting better at the end of the season, being a top 5 defense. So I think Chicago may be on the rise, and the Lions may have to watch out in that division depending on it. I don't even think it matters depending on who they draft first round,
right?
For first pick overall, I should say.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, moving on. We got who is wide receiver 1. Marvin Harrison, another overwhelming favorite at 88%. Neighbors at 12%. And like we said last week, our guy, underrated, Rome Odunze. We both love him from Washington. He got 0%. And it's kind of crazy, all the hype last year for that Biletnikoff award last year was Harrison or Neighbors, and Rome Odunze didn't get no love when he led the nation in receptions, he led the nations in yards, and he was one off and tying them at 14 touchdowns. He had 13, but he had the most receptions. I still think he's an underrated guy, and whoever gets him is going to they're going to get a solid player. Who would you pick if you had to pick of these 3 receivers? Who would you want on your team out there that your franchise quarterback should be throwing to?
Honestly, I think it comes down to your team, your system, and what you got already there. You know,
Fact.
these are three receivers who are three different styles of receivers. They all can make plays. They're all dynamic, but it comes down to what does my team need? And so where are they going at in the draft? So obviously you see where the overwhelming pick was at Marvin Harrison. The same thing is at with Caleb Williams. Marvin Harrison began that same type of hype since he honestly stepped on the field for college. So he's always been getting that type of hype. And so it all comes down to which team that they go to based off the need of that position. Um, I think it's a little disrespectful that Rome isn't getting the love that he deserves because Duke can ball. You know, he was on one of the best offenses, if not the best offense in Washington last year. And Neighbors, he really isn't getting that love due to LSU. They weren't really winning games because their O line was bad, their defense was bad. So it was quarterback skill players trying to carry the team the whole time. So
Right.
with that being said, I see why the percentage is what it is, but it still comes down to what the team needs.
Right, for sure. Got Michael Penix with Washington thrown it to Rome, and Rome and Neighbors both had teammates who had over 1,000 yards. Rome has another teammate that's going into the draft this year that's going to be solid for anybody, and same thing with Neighbors having Brian Thomas. But all three solid players are going to be good for any team.
For sure.
All right, the big question, and I think we with the fans here and the followers here,
For sure.
who should be drafted higher, Penix or JJ McCarthy? Penix 81% to McCarthy's 19. McCarthy is overrated in my opinion. Yes, I get he went 27-1 as a starter, won a national championship this past season, but that offense and Jim Harbaugh's offense is based on the running game and that big old line. So I'm with our followers here. I'm choosing I'm choosing Michael Penix. How about you?
Oh, for sure. I already told you my Michael Penix guy last week. Based off of arm talent, the way he reads the defense, the way he gets the ball out fast, his decision making, everything under the sun. JJ is a game manager, you know, and we're gonna keep it at that. Nothing more, nothing less. He can be dynamic at times with his legs to make plays, to create. If it's a third down, he want to keep running. But other than that, he's a game manager.
I got you. But moving on to our next topic and our follower interaction. Is JJ McCarthy worth that top 5 pick? Is he worth that team, giving away more draft capital and sliding up there in that top 5, whether it's at 3 with the Patriots or maybe forcing the Chargers to come down from 5 and going to go draft him, or 6, or maybe even the Giants staying at 6 and drafting him. But I want to give you something real fast before we get into your thoughts and before we get into that. You know what I mean? I don't understand the hype for him. You know what I mean? He went 27-1 as a starter, but like you said, he's a game manager. You know what I'm saying? What do you think here? What do you think he's worth a top 5 pick? Do you think he's worth that draft?
Whoa. Hold up, bro. Homeboy should be a starting quarterback right now.
What you mean?
Starting quarterback right now. JJ is a starting quarterback right now.
What you mean?
In the UFL. Okay. In the UFL. That's where he should be starting at. In the UFL. Call up The Rock, your jabroni, call him up and tell him, listen, I'm not great enough. I'm not even good enough. I'm a practice squad guy. I won't say practice squad. He'll be a solid backup for a few years. But other than that, he's going to shop around from team to team. But let's be honest. You ain't making it in the league as a starter.
Right.
And when I say game manager, you look at his best year, which was this year, he had 2,900 yards and 22 touchdowns. Now, when I think of other game managers in college that won on top dominant teams, I think of AJ McCarron. AJ McCarron, he had 3,000 yards and 28 touchdowns. And that
Right.
was just with him and Amari Cooper. I think it's Stenson Bennett. He had that tight end, but he had 4,000 yards and 27 touchdowns.
Right.
So with that being said, his numbers isn't even seeing those guys' numbers on his best year. Even when you had look at a player like Mac Jones. Mac Jones he might have had about 6,000 yards.
Mm-hmm.
But he had a crazy receiver lineup. So that's why I didn't want to think to use him. But you see how he came to the league and it ain't it, bro. It just ain't it for him. So
yeah. Them Alabama quarterbacks need everything to be perfect. They
sure
have the 2 to 3 receivers on the outside. They got 2 to 3 running backs because they're running back by committee, and we know Alabama going to recruit some offensive linemen. They're going to have some big boys up front.
Yep. So that's where I got him at.
So transitioning into that, moving on from that followers interaction about JJ and being a top 5 pick, there's a lot of hype around JJ McCarthy, and there's a lot of hype around Drake May, but the most hype has been around JJ the last couple of weeks, and we know we got 6 days left until this NFL draft on Thursday. Don't remember the plug. We going live on draft night.
That's right, baby. Live.
JJ McCarthy, like I said, 27-1 as a starter, won a national championship this past season. But I'm gonna give you some stats from 2022. He threw 22 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. But in those games when he played tough defenses in the Big Ten versus Iowa, he had 155 yards and a touchdown. Penn State, 145 yards, 0 touchdowns and an interception in 2022. Michigan State, 167 yards, 1 touchdown. Against Ohio State, 263 and 3 touchdowns. Here's the outlier. He killed Ohio State. They dominated Ohio State that year. Ohio State's defense, you know what I mean? They were considered good up until that game. JJ went off, and they ended up blowing them out. And then when they get to the college football playoff, they played TCU. Yes, he threw for 343, but he threw for 2 touchdowns and 2 costly interceptions, and they ended up losing that playoff game by 1 or 2 points to go to the national championship game. And in those 6 games, he averaged about 214 yards, almost 1.5 touchdowns, and almost an interception a game. This past season, 22 touchdowns again, 4 interceptions, 1 turnover less. But against Penn State, he threw for 60 yards, no touchdowns, no interception, and the whole game 60 yards.
Right.
60. Then against Ohio State, 148 yards, 1 touchdown. Iowa, 147 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Against Alabama, in the playoff game, 221 yards and 3 touchdowns. It was a good back and forth game. That's another outlier game, just like he had the previous year. He had an outlier game. He did well, played well. And then in Washington, in the national championship game, where we all know they ran for over 200 yards, and JJ McCarthy threw for 140. So you mean to tell me in the last game we saw JJ McCarthy play, he threw for 140 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, and he's a top 5 quarterback? That's the last game we saw. It's on film. Everybody watched it. And he's a top 5 quarterback. So I'm trying to see where you at in the JJ McCarthy hype, other than he should be playing for the UFL. Like, if you didn't draft JJ top 5, what range would you put him in, whether it is first round, or do you think he should be second? He should be a second day guy, whether it's second or third round.
No, fourth round guy. Like I said, he at the end of the day, I don't see him being a starting quarterback in the NFL. You can be a backup and you can jump around from team to team, but as far as anything more than that, I don't see the arm talent. I don't see the arm strength. I don't see. It's hard for me to say that I see decision making in the pocket, because he was handing the ball off a lot of the times, and then when he was throwing the ball, it was a one read slant. A lot of the times, it wasn't no looking through progressions, because anytime he sat back there and see nothing was there, he's using his legs. Right. So I can't sit here and definitively say I believe. I'd rather go with Drake May than him.
Whoa. Whoa.
I'll take May over him as far as like an arm talent, but because I don't know, but I ain't seen enough for me to be impressed to say he's a starting quarterback in this league. But then again, you can go to the Niners and look good. It's that system.
That's fact. I'm not for you to say Drake May. I'm not drafting either one of them. I think.
Oh no. I'm not saying I'm saying I'll take May over him in the draft. Is what I'm
Right.
saying.
Okay.
I don't even see May as a first round guy. But you know how these NFL teams is, bro. They weird. They think they got the recipe to make these guys that good on this level. Like no, unless you got a stout system. Like I said, Shanahan. Unless you got that, other than that, bro, you're not about to sit here and think you about to change the world with these dudes.
I agree. I agree with you totally, especially with the JJ. I don't fourth round. Like even if we know he going first because people going to reach. That's what teams do. They've been reaching since 2018. They reached for Sam Darnold in 2018. They reached for Daniel Jones in 2019. They reached for Zach Wilson in 2021 and Trey Lance and Mac Jones. They not on it. None of them is on the teams they were drafted by, except for Zach. Even though he's looking for a trade, you have no value. You're not getting traded. Jets probably going to release you by. And Kenny Pickett got reached for in the first round in 2022. Got drafted 20 overall in the first round. Should have never happened. In my opinion, when that happened in 2022, I think it was a pity pick. He went to Pitt, and you got picked by the Pittsburgh Steelers. That was at that point. And then last year, I believe. Even though he showed some in a couple games, he showed some promise this past season, 2023 draft. I think Will Levis, Mr. May, Mr. Mayonnaise, and the coffee. He did get some weapons over this free agency with Pollard, and he got Calvin Ridley. I still think he was a reach, even though he was set early second round.
And I'm fine with that in the second round.
He had a season like who relates to him this year in this draft is Drake May. All the hype was for Drake May last year. If he would have came out, he probably would have been number one. And then he was up here with the stats and everything. Oh, strong arm. Yeah, he still got a strong arm. But then
they started to decline. They was winning games early on and started losing, and everything else just started falling apart for him.
He was losing the teams they shouldn't have been losing to. He was erratic in games. He throwing interceptions, turning the ball over. So I think he belongs on that category with Will Levis in this 2024 draft happening next Thursday, April 24th.
And we'll be live.
Yes, sir.
For sure. All right, now you ready to go over these NFC teams?
Yes, sir.
Let me get a little sip of my yakety yak. Don't
clear the throat real quick.
me. This that hen dog and orange juice. Okay, OJ. Rest in peace, OJ. That was a wild.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, he was crazy.
All right, so yeah, I'm gonna cover the NFC North. We're gonna start out with the Chicago Bears. Last year they finished at 7-10. They re-signed Jalen Johnson. They signed Swift. They got Ngaku. They got Keenan Allen, and they got Kevin Byard. I think they did a lot of things to add to that team to prepare the draft Caleb Williams. With the number one pick, obviously, that they got. They got a new defensive coordinator, Eric Washington, coming from the Bills, who was a part of helping the Bills in that defense when they were healthy. They honestly, even though they had injuries, they still played sound together, but they got knocked with a lot of injuries, and Von Miller just wasn't the same as far as last year. But yeah, Bears is looking to really capitalize on top of having that number one draft pick with Caleb Williams. So I think they added a lot of the right pieces and going to keep building from there with Caleb.
Right. I agree. Either they draft Caleb or Jaden Daniels, but it looks like right now, 6 days ago, it looks like it's going to be Caleb at number one. But I'm really interested in what they do at number 9, whether they trade down. Do they draft a offensive lineman to protect him, shore up that offensive line, whether it's left tackle or right tackle? Or like I've been saying, I'm gonna go with them receivers. This is a deep draft. There's gonna be some talent. There's gonna be some talent there. I do think that Marvin gets drafted earlier. Neighbors may get drafted a little bit after him, and they may get a
Mhm.
steal. If Rome is sitting there, I may say
Roll me wrong.
forget the offensive lineman. I can get the offensive lineman in the second round and go get
Mhm.
Rome, especially because Keenan Allen is getting a little bit older. He still has the injury bug on him, and he will slide right in there to be that second receiver next to DJ Moore. And I think he'll be the perfect fit there too for that for Caleb or either Jaden Daniels.
For sure, for sure, for sure. Yeah, we'll see how that turns out for them. They got 2 high draft picks. And maybe they trade back and maybe they sit there and either get Romy Rome or offensive lineman because it's a deep offensive line draft. But yeah, moving on to the Minnesota Vikings. Last year they finished at 7-10. They did a pick swap with Houston, 11 for 23. They brought in Shaq Griffin and Aaron Jones.
Mm-hmm.
They're also looking at, well, we'll see what they do as far as what trying to pay Justin Jefferson. He wants that Chizak, and the man is serious about that check. Uh, I think what they'll do here is I don't know because I don't want them to reach for a quarterback, but they mess around and might do it because they got to due to them not having a quarterback for
Don't have
real.
one, right? They do not have
Yeah,
one.
they don't have a quarterback, and so you stuck in a weird space right now where it's you get a quarterback that's a reach, or no, if they get Penix, but I doubt that they'll do that. But
Right.
I don't know honestly what
Right.
the Vikings is going to do. To be honest with you, it's where I'm at. I'm stuck.
I'm with you as well. I don't know what they're going to do. The analysts got them moving up and snagging a quarterback, and I don't think if they move up for a quarterback, they got to, in my opinion, they got to draft Michael Penix. That would be the only guy for you
Right.
to keep Justin Jefferson. And back what you said, he wants that money. He already turned down
Mhm.
$30 million a year for them, so I don't think he really want to stay there. And like I said before, Cincinnati, come get him.
How
Come
much
get him.
more wide receivers they need, bro?
And
God, well, I mean, they didn't pay Young Boy, so I get it. They ain't pay T Higgs, so
I ain't play T Higgins. They got him on the.
put that trade in there.
Yeah, they want to swap him out. Give him that pick that since he got. Trade him on over there and get them LSU boys, the triplets, back together and see
That'd be
what they can
scary.
do. And that would be scary hours if they could do that. But like you said,
Yeah.
I don't know what the Vikings going to do. Whether they need a quarterback, so they gonna have to. And maybe they stand pat and sit where they are, and maybe they either draft Bo Nix or Penix. Who knows? But
Right.
moving up there into the top five going to take a lot of coin and draft picks and
Yep.
capital for them to move up, and I don't think they have it.
Yeah. Nope. And they need to just sit put and figure it out. Yeah, moving on to the Green Bay Packers. Last year they finished at 9-8, made a strong playoff push, smacked on the Cowboys, belts the asses on us.
Sure.
Uh, After doing that, they released David Bakhtiari, one of the cornerstone guys of that offensive line, who's been there for a while. That's a big loss for them. They they got rid of Aaron Jones, flipped him around, and brought in JJ. They released the defensive coordinator, Joe Barry, brought in Jeff Haley, who's coming from Boston College, who runs a 4-3 defense. They brought in a college defensive coordinator. I don't know how I feel about that, but normally you bring in the offensive minded guys from college. So we'll see how this turns out for them in the Packers. They got the number 25th pick. I think they got offensive tackle due to them losing David Bakhtiari and them having this being a deep offensive line draft.
Right. I think I agree. I do agree with you getting some offensive linemen to protect Jordan Love. Jordan Love played very well the last half of the season. Green Bay played well, period, the last half of the season, and
Yeah.
this division in the NFC North is going to get more competitive considering what the Lions did. I know we're going to touch base on them in a minute. What the Lions did last year, coming off a strong season before, and then going to win the division and make some playoff noise. And then you have the Green Bay Packers, who made some noise and could have easily been in that NFC Championship game. Just a missed throw by Jordan Love, a forced throw that he didn't have to make. And then you have the Bears making all those offseason moves this year, as far as adding some pieces, getting some trades, and now having a number 1, number 9 pick. So I think that this division is going to be very, very competitive. But yes, I do think they go offensive lineman. They need to protect Jordan Love. That's who is their franchise quarterback. I think they found me. I think he's going to have another solid season, considering they did, like you said, add Josh Jacobs in that run game. It's only going to help the pass game out with him running the rock, toting the rock, after coming off 2 years ago as being the leading rusher of the NFL.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see if they're able to make that playoff run again as last year. Moving on to the division winners, the Detroit Lions. Last year they finished at 12-5. They lost CJ GJ. He ended up going back to the Eagles. The Eagles should have just paid the dude, but we understand how business works, and they didn't really want to take that chance on paying him that much money. They also got rid of Cam Sutton, aka the YDD. If you don't know what YDD means, I'm going to here to give you a fun fact what YDD means. YDD means young dumb dickhead. Okay. Young dumb dickhead, and that's what you are, Cam Sutton. So get your life together, get it together. You are young and you're dumb and you're a dickhead. Get it together. Therapy, whatever you need, brother man. But yeah, they brought in Donovan Peoples-Jones. They got the 29th pick. I think they go cornerback due to them losing that YDD.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do need some defense, because that back end was horrible during the season, and it hurt them during the playoffs. So I do agree that they're going to need somebody on the back end, whether it's safety or corner, to help Hutchinson get to the quarterback even faster, because he did play well. You know me and them D linemen from Michigan, I do not bang with them.
Nope.
Because they have success in college. They get to the NFL and they don't bowl out well. But Hutchinson's the last 2 years he has been balling. So yes, I think they go DB here for their draft pick and get better on defense. And because it looks they're fine on offense, they're only going to get better on offense with those 2 running backs. And Jared Goff has been solid for them. And then you got Amon St. Brown, and you got Williams, who's going to be solid for them. And you got that their tight end is very, very good. I like him. He came out of nowhere last year, but you know, I mean, them Iowa tight ends do work when they get to
yes, sir.
They do work.
Transition for sure.
Yeah. Okay,
you ready to take it over?
Yes, sir. Moving on to the NFC South trash division, if you ask me. But one team did get better, and that's about it with this division. We're gonna start off with the Panthers, who had a 2-15 season and didn't really do much to add. They did add some guys, but not any key or big names to their team. They did re-sign Derek Brown, who is their all-world D tackle inside, but they got rid of their best player on their team, and Brian Burns traded him to the Giants. They let Hayden Hurst walk, who's a good solid tight end. Von Bell, safety, and Bradley Bozeman, an offensive lineman. Like I said, they need everything. They need O-line, they need D linemen, they need corners, they need safeties, they need linebacker, but they don't have a pick until 33, the second round. So we're not going to see them pick on Thursday night, but they do have an early round pick on the second day. On Saturday, and I think they should go off the line if they plan on protecting Bryce Young, who got hit a whole ton last year, got sacked a lot. They need to keep him upright or enough to stay healthy and be successful. But even with drafting O lineman, having pick 33 and then pick 65, I don't see the Panthers winning 5 games anyway.
Facts. I don't see them winning 3 games, but we'll see how that works out. I agree with you. The offensive line, Bryce Young was running for his life. It was a horror movie on the football field. That's what that was. A horror movie on the football field.
Facts.
Dude was running for his goddamn life, and he just was just chucking the ball up to any and everything. It was an unfortunate situation because you set your top draft pick, your number one pick, up to fail. Between
Yes.
that and then losing their head coach who they brought in, who they had no business bringing him in, you should have stuck with the guy that they was rocking out with, who the team was bought in on. So with that being said, I don't see the Panthers doing much any better this season. Just get offensive line and just try to slowly build from there, and then try to figure it out.
They need some
Just,
playmakers too. I mean, we
yeah,
do know that in those later rounds, second, third, even sixth and seventh round, there's a lot of guys, diamonds in the rough back there. So they may find some players in those later rounds that help them succeed in the years to come.
yep.
Moving on to the Falcons, who did a lot during this offseason, added, you like that? You like that? Added your man, first cousins, second cousins, cousins.
Cousins.
Kirk Cousins got that bag $180 million contract. They added Kirk. They added Darnell Mooney, a solid receiver. Rondell Moore from the Cardinals, another solid gadget player, reverses and speed sweeps. And they added Eddie Goldman, a solid pick that I think the Bears may miss him unless they draft his replacement up front. I think they're going to miss him. Good addition for the Bears, and that defensive line is getting better, and their defense is getting better. The Falcons I think they got Eddie Goldman to replace Calais Campbell, who's getting old. He's up there in age, still out there as a free agent, can still move the pocket, still a solid player, solid vet for any team. They got pick 8 with adding all those additions with that young talent and Drake London and what's his name from Texas, the running back. I'm tripping. I'm missing his name right now. I can't even remember his name. But he had a solid season as a rookie last year at running back. At pick 8, I do think that maybe they go edge, maybe they go corner, but maybe they just add a little bit on offensive line.
Brian Robinson.
Yeah. Maybe the running back you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they go offensive line to protect Kirk a little bit. They can pick anywhere here, but maybe they go defensive line. They go Jared Verse from Florida State. I don't know. They could go anywhere. What do you think?
I definitely was thinking DN. They weren't. Excuse me. You done brought in a defensive minded coach, so I think they feel like they're solid where they're at on the offensive side.
Right.
They want to make this game close and let Kirk Cousins manage that game, get the balls to his playmakers, play defense.
Right. I think what, you're right about Raheem Morris being a defensive coach.
So that's where I'm at with them. I like everything they did though, for sure. You're
right. I think they do go defense there. Raheem Morris being a defensive minded coach, like you said. Yeah, I'm with you. Totally forgot about that, Raheem Morris. Totally forgot about that. Good insight there. And on to the Saints, who went 9-8. They were tied at the top of the division with the Bucks, but they lost a tiebreaker to the Bucks, being 9-8. They had a lot of departures this past season. Michael Thomas, Jameis Winston, Malcolm Roach, and Zach Brown, and in a corner, Isaac Yiden. They added Chase Young, and they added Willie Gay, a sneaky pick from the Chiefs. I don't think I think the Chiefs are going to miss him for next season unless they can recover and either draft a guy or pick a guy up late if somebody gets hurt. They have pick 45, so there's another team who does not have a pick in the first round. The Saints, another team who needs O linemen to protect Derek Carr. Derek Carr, I think his job is on the line this year. I think if he doesn't perform, there's going to be some issues, and he may be out of there. And you know who I think they should pick at 45 if he does last this long, if a team doesn't reach on him? Because, like I said, like we mentioned in our show our last show, there was no GM at this young man's pro day, and Bo Nix. I think Nix the last 2 years at Oregon had two very solid seasons. He played well. I think he may have played himself into the first round, maybe. But if he's a second day guy, he will be a steal for a team to maybe sit the bench a year or two behind a veteran, and then he will be what I think he may be learning another playbook if he goes to a team because the coach will probably be out of a job. And
right.
So I think Bo Nix will be a solid pickup for anybody, but he may be a solid pickup for the Saints too if it works out.
Right. For the Saints, I'm taking either offensive line or wide receiver.
Okay.
And being as though that Dennis Allen is on his last leg, you go offensive line to protect Derek Carr, or you go wide receiver to complement Chris Olave and put up some points. Because that defense was carrying them a lot in this season last year. Yeah. You got a Kamara who was suspended last year and missed games, and he was kind of up and down, getting his way back into his rhythm. And they were fighting to compete in this bad division of what it was. So now, boom, let me go get a guy to complement Olave because you lost Michael Thomas, who was in and out too. Right. You need to go either there, you go offensive line, start putting them some points with this offense. Because Derek Carr, he can manage the game. He's not a game breaker for you, but as long as you got a defense that's as stout and plays as sound as it is, you can win games. You can win this division like that.
Do you see them maybe trading into the first round?
45, right?
Yeah, 45 is their first pick.
That's too much, bro. Just sit there.
Just sit there.
Because both positions that I said, there's deep this year.
Yeah.
So you can't go wrong, honestly. Just let something fall to you.
Agreed. Okay, I hear you, my guy. I hear you. And the Bucks, who went 9-8, won the division in last season, beat the Eagles in the first round, and then lost a very close game in the second round by Baker Mayfield interception late in that game. They played really well. Baker played really well, ended up getting the bag at the end of this year, which then led to Mike Evans re-signing with the team. I think he should have left, but I get it. You want to stay with the team that drafted you and keep producing. They did add Bryce Hall, cornerback from the Jets, who's really good, is going to do well for them. They did lose Shaq Barrett, Devin White, and Carlton Davis, who was traded to the Lions. They have picked 26 at the end of the first round. Defense and another defensive-minded head coach. I think they go defense here. They may go wide receiver, considering Chris Godwin and Mike Evans are a little bit on the older side. Maybe they get some speed. Maybe they go with Donnie Mitchell. Maybe they go Xavier Worthy, his teammate from Texas. I don't know, but I think they need corners. They lost some guys out offensive lineman, or they go inside linebacker because they just lost Devin White. I don't know if you pick an inside linebacker at 26, so they might pick a linebacker later because I don't think there is a linebacker that's worth reaching for in the first round where you can get another guy who's an impact player. So what you thinking the Bucks will do?
Once again, we got another defensive-minded coach. He felt pretty confident in the offense that he's had. Maybe O-line if you go offense, but other than that, you got your running back, you got your receivers. You go DN. You lost Shaq. You go DN because you got two stout D tackles in Vita Vea and Kansas. They combine for 9 sacks together. You got your two inside guys. You need a guy off that edge who's going to create that pressure. And then you keep building from there. That defense has gotten a little older in age, so I see them going younger on that side. It is a kind of an old team all around, but Go get yourself a DN. You haven't had a top DN. Well, you lost Shaq, but then even before that, you had JPP who's going to. So yeah, go get yourself a DN. You can't double team those D tackles. Now you got to win on the outside.
Got you, brother. Got you, brother.
Mm-hmm,
All right,
mm-hmm.
man. Listen, we're gonna take a break from this NFC, uh, this NFC free agency, and I'm gonna hit you with some questions real quick that I know you're gonna love. You know I like playing little games or whatever, but this is a couple like random questions. This got no name to it, so we just gonna call it random questions at this point. You know what I mean?
Hey,
That
just
first,
for the record, I do not know any of the questions, so this is all free for all.
this is
It's a good thing
all.
I'm a quick thinker.
Yes, sir. So on that first episode, what did you remember what we played? Remember we played on that first episode?
Fill that word in, fill the blank,
Oh,
or name that
yeah.
word. Yeah,
What's the word? We played What's the Word?
yeah.
So now these is just a couple of random questions. So what I want to do for you, my guy, Rock 2, you know what I mean?
That's good.
So this first question I got for you, okay. Who do you think?
Come on, get your questions together. Get them together. Let's go. Come on, I'm ready.
Who do you think has the most pressure on them as the quarterback this season? Is it Tua, Josh Allen, or Russell Wilson?
When you say pressure, is pressure as far as what? To win?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna put it on Tua due to the fact of you haven't gotten paid yet, and you have all that receive. You have an offense that is what it is. You have a dynamic offense, and there's no reason why you should be getting shut out in any game. Honestly, any game, because you had games where Tyreek Hill wasn't there and Water went off. Water wasn't there and Tyreek Hill went off, and you still have a running game. Russ, I can't put too much on you because that offense isn't dynamic enough, and you're on a thin line to begin with, and this is your first year in that system. Who was the other guy you said?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. You lost your number one receiver who you was beefing with from the rip, and y'all started to figure out in the second half with a new coordinator where y'all running the ball more. So I think you'll go back to. I hope that you continue to run the ball more and trying to build from there and play defense. But y'all lost too many pieces because y'all so cap strong. So with that being said, Tua for sure.
Tua. Okay. All right. I like it. I like it. My short answer would be Josh Allen only because you lost Stephon Diggs and everybody thinks that Josh Allen was already established before he had Stephon. All right. So guess what, Josh Allen? Josh Allen, show me. Josh Allen, show me. I want to see what you got, brother. I want to see it. Next question. Which QB has the better season? Joe Burrow, Kirk Cousins, or my guy, overrated guy, Aaron Rodgers?
Cousins. And I'm going to say Cousins due to that offense that it has and that division ain't being that good. So it's a division for him to win. You got Aaron Rodgers. That offensive line still isn't good. It's too much going on there.
They did add some guys. They add some guys.
They did add guys. The AFC is still too tough. So the AFC is still too tough. And what was the third guy? Who was the other guy?
It was Burrow, Cousins, and Rodgers.
Oh, Burrow. Yeah, Burrow. You got to stay healthy, bro. That's your main focus right there for you is staying healthy. I think Kurt, you are the vet guy, and you got these young guys who you can sit here and win games with, and not put too much pressure on your hands because you got a running back,
right?
And you have a defense. I say Kurt first Cousins, and he got the bag.
Gotcha. All right, here we go. Last question. This is going to hit home for a lot of people, including you. All right.
Okay.
Listen, This is a start bench cut.
Oh,
I want you
oh,
I want you to think long and hard about this one because this one you're gonna be conflicted a little bit. All right.
okay.
So start bench cut.
Hmm.
Cam Boogie Newton.
Whoa, he not even in the league. How you gonna put him on there?
Hold on. Give me a second.
All right,
Give me a
go. Do you
second.
think? Let me sit
Cam
my
Boogie
yak.
Newton. Michael Vick. Lamar Jackson. Oh, and look,
Hold
here's the
on.
kicker. Here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. You got Newton, Vick,
Okay.
and Lamar. Start bench cut. All of them are in their prime.
On their team,
On
right?
their team. Panthers, Falcons, and the Ravens. In their prime.
Vic, you're getting cut. And I'm cutting you
Ooh,
because don't care.
ooh,
Don't care.
ooh,
As dynamic as you was, boy, you couldn't read worth crap. And you
ooh,
was
that's
running around just
crazy.
creating
That's
plays. I don't give a
disrespectful.
goddamn.
Oh,
I
he
don't give
put
a goddamn.
disrespect on him,
You was
man.
dynamic. You did everything. But boy, you left that playbook in the trunk.
Oh no, he
And you
said
wanted to go
Vic is
party with
cut.
AI.
He gave him
Another
the
dude who
red
didn't care
slip.
about practice.
Oh
Mr.
no,
Practice himself.
he
Y'all
gave
both
him the
skipped
red
practice and went to
slip.
the strip club. Yep.
Oh
Get out of
man.
here, pal.
All right,
Mm-hmm.
who you benching is starting?
I'm benching Cam.
Okay.
And I'm benching Cam only because when you winning, you showboating. When you losing, you're not leading.
Mm,
You're not gathering the troops, bro. You had your strong MVP season. You coughed up that football in the Super Bowl, but you still are a sore loser at the end of the
wow. Okay.
day.
All right.
A
Okay.
sore loser.
Okay.
You am starting Lamar because as I'm seeing him transition and getting better every year
Mm,
into the league.
mm,
He just can't beat the Chiefs, bro.
yeah.
That's just really what it is.
Right.
I've seen him play big in big games, but it's just the Chief. Sometimes the team just got your number, bro,
Right.
and they just got your number. And I think that I'm not saying he's this dominant leader or anything like that, but he carries a win the same way he carries a loss, and
Yeah.
that's what I like about him. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I will say. I will say. I blame the loss on the play calling this past season in the playoffs against the Chiefs. They only ran the ball 9 times in the second half,
sad.
and they had
Best
Lamar
running game.
drop back and passing. Now, if they do that again this season, when you got Derrick Henry back there and Harbaugh, offensive coordinator, defense, everybody got to go. You don't run the ball only 9 times when you got Derrick Henry in the playoff game. You better do what you're supposed to do. They got
Mm-hmm.
a lot of weapons. I like what you picked, but I'm reversing what you did.
Ooh.
I am gonna cut Vic. I am gonna
Okay.
cut Vic, but I'm gonna start my man Boogie Newt Cam because Cam
Mm.
got me to a Super Bowl. Lamar has not done that yet.
Whoa.
Lamar has not done that yet. He hasn't even been to an AFC championship game. Yes, I agree with you with the Cam thing. He didn't lead. He's a sore loser. You know what I mean? But Cam, when he Cam did everything that Vic did 2 times over in his rookie season, throwing for over 4,000 yards and running for a stack. Now look, Lamar did come in, break that record, cool, but he wasn't throwing for 4,000 yards. Lamar has never thrown for 4,000
Right.
yards in the season. Lamar has not.
Right.
Lamar has also not gone 15-1 and got you to a Super Bowl. He has not
Right.
got to an AFC Championship game. He either been hurt. This playoff was the first year he didn't get hurt for the playoffs. I think, except for the others, like one of his first seasons when his first year started. So
Yeah.
as much as
I
I
get
love
that.
Lamar, I'm gonna take Boogie. I'm gonna take him starting, and I'm gonna take Lamar on the bench. I love all three quarterbacks. Everybody, when we played with Mike Vick back in Atlanta, we was playing with Madden. We was playing him on Madden all single time. We
Oh,
drive
for sure. Hell
take
yeah.
it off
Hell yeah.
anyway.
But
Um,
Pete, my man.
yes, sir. I'm listening.
Cam wasn't going up against a Chiefs team in that NFC in the NFC, bro.
But he
When a
was
team got your number, a team got your number. He had a year.
he was going against the Legion of Boom. Though he had to go through the Legion of Boom.
But at that time, they started to dismantle from there, though.
Yeah, true. And he did run into a hot team. It was all defense. Peyton Manning had nothing to do with that winning the Super Bowl. That defense was just all over
Oh,
Cam.
for sure.
They
Yeah.
had no adjustments. He was getting pressured,
Mm-hmm.
sacked, fumble, picks, all that. But
Yeah.
like I said, I think we like all three guys. It's hard to pick. Those three is hard to pick. Start, bench, and cut.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
All right, my guy. Do your thing.
All right now. We back to these NFC guys, these NFC teams. All right, I'm gonna cover the NFC West. First team I'm gonna get into is the Arizona Cardinals. Last year they finished 4-13. They traded for Desmond Ritter. They got the number 4th pick, and you stupid not to pick the dude, Mr. Junior himself. Mr. Junior himself. You go get Marvin Harrison Jr. You team him up with Kyler Murray. You got a team who's they're starting to transition to a younger team. Gannon got there the day after they lost in the Super Bowl, and the team has been bought in. They've won games that they had no business winning, like smacking the Cowboys around, smacking the Eagles around. They got Kyler Murray later in the season, and then I think they'll look to build from there.
Yeah, I don't think you pass on Maserati Marv. I don't think you trade down either, unless somebody come in there and grab a quarterback and you trade down, and then you miss out on Marvin Harrison. And even if they don't care that much to draft Marvin, they're like, oh, we'll settle for neighbors. Like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think they need a playmaker for Kyler, considering Rondell Moore is out. He doesn't have a big time receiver that can run every single route on the route tree. So I think you got to go for that playmaker, even though you need some protection up front. But you take that impact player in Maserati Marv. Don't move out of that 4th spot. You take him.
Right. Yep, definitely. All right, so we're on to the Seattle Seahawks. Last year they finished at 9-8, almost made it to the playoffs, but ended up getting knocked out. They released Jamal Adams, Quandre Diggs, Will Dissly. They signed Jonathan Hankins, Kayvon Wallace, and re-signed Leonard Williams. With the number 16th pick, I think they go D-line to keep adding to that defensive line. The offense outside of them, they're going to keep riding with Geno because they're sold on Geno. Their receivers is good. The tight end is solid. They might need an O-line guy, but other than that, you got your 2 running backs. You go build to that defense. The cornerbacks are young and aggressive. I like those guys a lot. They lost Bobby. Bobby ended up going over to where Dan Quinn is at. But yeah, I think that they go defensive line at 16.
Now you say tight end. They got a solid tight end. Do they still have Noah Fant, or is Noah Fant gone?
I want to say he's still there. Yeah.
I'm checking right now.
I didn't see anything about being gone.
They still got Noah. But they did lose Will Dissly, who was very solid for them when Noah was hurt. I don't know where they go at 16. Like you said, they saw that receiver. They got probably one of the best trios of receivers in the league. Maybe maybe top. They definitely top 5, if not top 5, top 10 receiver rooms in the league. You said they think you go D-line. I think moving.
Yeah.
I think Bobby Wagner leaving to the Commanders. I think no, not 16. Not an inside linebacker. And
right.
They got corners. Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe go D-line, offensive line, secure that up. Yeah, I think you're right. Offensive line and defensive line for them at that point, right there at
Punch
60 in middle of the pack. If not, trade back and get some more second round picks.
Yep, for sure. Got the LA Rams. Last year they finished at 10-7, made it to the playoffs, but came up short. They brought in Jimmy G as the backup, Mr. Pornstar himself. They brought in they brought in Tre'Davious White when healthy, a very good cornerback. It's just health has been his problem.
Mm,
The GOAT, one of the greatest D tackles to play the game, lost AD.
yes,
Dude
they
was a
did.
stat. Oh my gosh, yeah, he was that guy. But the game just passed him. Yeah, I think he ran out of it. So they got the number 19th pick. I think they go cornerback here. They show up that back end. They need help back there. The D line still was solid, even after losing AD.
You said they got the 19th pick?
Yeah.
Okay. You know where I'm going.
Wide
Michael.
receiver.
Nah. I'm not going wide out. I'm
Where
going
you going?
I'm going Michael Penix. I
But
think
you got staff, bro.
Stafford he ain't got much longer, man. He ain't got much longer. I think he if at the most he got 2 years left. He got babies. His wife went through that surgery, the brain surgery and all that stuff. I think he going to settle down and take care of his family at this point. If they can't get it done in this season or next season. And I think they
Oh, hold up. Trade staff to the Vikings.
trade who to the Vikings.
Stafford.
Ooh.
Trade staff to the Vikings, bro. If you
But
go Penix.
I still don't think that saves you from. I still don't think that saves the Vikings
For
from
JJ?
keeping JJ because he knows Stafford on his way out. He old.
I hear you, but he knows Stafford throw that ball.
I like what you're doing, but he gonna be like, all right, I'll take my 1 year, but y'all gotta get. I'm not signing that franchise tag.
Right. Yeah.
That's how I feel with JJ. JJ need to get out of there, and because none of these receivers gonna make him happy because they either gonna try to shake JJ or they gonna try to Drake May and not happen. But back to the Rams. But like you said, I think they go Michael Penix or they go D lineman to try to fill. It's gonna be heavy. It's gonna be big shoes to fill. Trying to fill in for Aaron Donald.
Right. Definitely for sure. All right. Last team in the division, 49ers made it to the Super Bowl, came up short, finished at 12-5. They lost Eric Armstead, who I feel like is the most important piece to that defensive line. Chase Young, aka I don't even know why his name is Chase. His name should be Lazy Young. They fired Steve Wilkes. I think they didn't want him from the rip. They just didn't see eye to eye with Shanahan. It might have been an office
He was the
versus
scapegoat. He was the scapegoat.
exactly. Facts. I think he might have been. I think it was just the office versus the coach thing. I have no idea what it is, but you promote Nick Sorensen, someone who was already on the team, move him up. Then you bring in Brandon Staley as the assistant coach, and the Niners. They don't have any draft picks. I think they just need to focus on paying Mr. Ayuk and then just keep building from there. Your team is already your team. You know what you got. Maybe go linebacker sometime in the draft due to you Green get hurt. But other than that, that's where we at, baby.
What pick you said they had?
They ain't got one, bro. Bro, the Niners, they was all in. They've been all in for a minute.
Right. They have been. You're right. I don't know what they do, considering they got to pay some people.
Yep.
My thing is, you get rid of overrated Debo Samuel.
What?
Well, I'm gonna get back. Hold on. I'm gonna get back to you. Give me a second. I think you pay Ayuk. And they still gotta pay Brock. They still gotta pay Purdy. I'm gonna tell you why.
This is third year, right? He's going into his third year. Brock.
Yeah. So when Debo got paid when he had that outlier season, he had like 1,400 yards receiving, right?
Mm-hmm.
I looked up this stat last week when I was at the barbershop. Because
You go, it's the
listen,
analytical dude.
yeah, I did. I had to because it was a bull in it was a bull in a chair because he had Niners fame. He was talking crazy. He's like, "Oh, you want to trade Debo? Da, 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 da. Debo is." And me and my barber agreed with me. Like, you paying Debo like a number one receiver. He's not getting number one receiver numbers. But let me tell you this. If Debo is a number one receiver and he's so good and so dynamic, 74% of his catches in his routes is 9 yards or less.
100%. I know that.
74% last
See,
season. So that means to tell me you only running a drag route, a slant, a hitch, and most of them Jones screens. You running smoke routes. So you're not a number one receiver, bro, and you want number one receiver money, but you're not getting number one receiver stats. You're not running number one receiver routes. You not do. And then when it's big games, you hiding. 3 catches for 35 yards, 5 catches for 55 yards in the Super Bowls. Where are you at in the big games? You ain't there. We need to see you. You hiding.
Right. So my counter to that is you're valid about the money wise, but when he's catching those screens, who's tackling him? He's a playmaker. You're paying him for his playmaking ability. Is he a wide receiver one? No, definitely not a wide receiver one. No way in hell he is. But the fact of his versatility and impact, and you have to watch him while also watching C-Mac is scary. It's a scary thing. And that offense is structured where they're not force feeding anyone outside of C-Mac. Like I said this before. You depending week to week, it could be Debo's week, it could be Kittle's week, it could be Ayuk's week. It's always C-Mac's week. The way that system and team is built. So is he worth wide receiver one money? No, but you still can't take away from his dynamic ability and the way that he impacts the game. Once he gets that ball, you're going to need about 2-3 guys to tackle him. If other than his health too, because he gets banged up a lot, I get that part. But a healthy Debo,
we have not seen all year. We not have seen all year. No. I see what you're saying, and especially being in that offense with Kyle Shanahan. But I think if you sign Brian, I think if you sign Ayuk and you trade away, you get assets for Debo.
Yeah,
you set yourself up. You set yourself up with getting another dynamic receiver and a number one receiver next to Ayuk, and then you have Kittle worried about operating in the middle of the field, and you still got CMC back there. I think you set yourself up with success. And
what team do you see? What team do you see him being still dynamic like that on now?
I don't know. Depending who the first team that comes to mind, but depending on who they get as quarterback.
Oh, I got a team.
The first team that comes to mind right now to help a solid number one receiver out who's already there and established is the Raiders. But they got they would have to get a quarterback first. That's my only thing. My only thing with them. No, I don't see him with like the Patriots. Maybe because he's a tough guy, you ship his behind to the AFC and go to the Steelers. Steelers give us assets and go get him.
Because the Steelers don't know how to use receivers, though.
He would fit that mold with Mike Tomlin, the toughness and blah, 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 blah. But he got to stay healthy to provide that toughness. You know what I mean? That's just another team that comes to mind.
You know who I want him with?
Who?
The Falcons. You have him with that young running back. Those are two. Once again, you said he catches the ball, short passes, and they create. Imagine having to lock in on both of them. Now that's a scary offense.
How many seasons what they're using for? I believe he has 2 more years on this contract. You just signed Drake London to an extension. You're gonna have to play Robinson in a couple years.
But
If
they're
he's
not cap strung.
Oh no, they're not. I don't. Not even with and you just paid
Kirk.
Kirk all that money. So I don't know, but I like what you're saying though. I like that.
Yeah. Yep. I'm
All
all
right,
done though. It's all you, player.
last but not least, the NFC East, which I still think is the best division, even though the Giants and the Washington Commanders are trash. And you still got they're just our division is very top heavy with the Philadelphia Eagles, hometown here, and the Dallas Cowboys. The Washington Commanders, they went 4-13 last year. They lost Logan Thomas and Charles Leno at left tackle. They have picked number 2. They added a whole lot. They added Dan Quinn as a new head coach, Zach Ertz, and they added all the Cowboys players that the Cowboys didn't resign. Doris Armstrong, Tyler Biotish. They added Jeremy Chin, sneaky pick that I think everybody needs is a good kicker, and Brandon McManus, Dante Fowler, Bobby Wagner, and Jeremy Chin and Marcus Mariota. Another Mark Mariota knows he's going to be a backup because they are going to draft a quarterback, whether it's Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams, depending on who gets picked. But I did see today that Jaden Daniels is not trying to go to Washington, so I don't know what that's about. So we'll see what happens on draft day. And I also read today that the owner has been very hands-on. He is not a hands-off owner, so he has his choosing of who he wants to pick. So you know how owners do when they want to get involved with the football operations, i.e. Jerry Jones. You know how that goes. So I think that might go downhill with them. Are we at a consensus that they're going to pick a quarterback number 2?
Man, we are at the consensus. They ain't got a damn choice but to go quarterback. But homeboy, they need to pull him to the side. Like, listen, man, we trying to build something here.
Right. Let the coaches.
We're trying to build something here.
Let the football guys be the football guys.
Exactly, bro. Like you can't not go quarterback here. You were super aggressive in the free agency. You brought in this coaching staff that you got. If you're looking to win and you're looking to compete in the NFC East, you have to get a damn quarterback.
For sure.
As you can see over the years, you trying to get a game managing quarterback is only going to get you smoked. You're not going nowhere too far in the NFC East with that. Hell no.
Moving on to the Giants, who went 6-11. The Giants did a lot during this offseason. They have picked 6 in the draft, but they lost some guys. They lost Saquon Barkley, their all-world running back, who is basically their whole entire offense because they have no other stars. They have no other weapons, including at the quarterback position. They lost Paris Campbell to the Eagles. They lost Matt Pert to offensive lineman, Tyrod Taylor, who is now backing up Aaron Rodgers in New Jersey, East Rutherford, New Jersey Jets. Lost Xavier McKinney to the Packers, but they did add Brian Burns, a trade from the Panthers, Drew Lock to be a backup quarterback to Daniel Jones, Devin Singletary, Jalen Mills, DB, John Runyon as a right tackle, and a couple other guards that they picked up because they know they needed offensive linemen so they could try to protect Daniel Jones. So it's been the theme for the Giants the last couple years that he's been running for his life. He got hurt last year with the ACL injury. They got pick number 6. I do believe that they need a quarterback, but if they keep saying that Daniel Jones is the guy, even though Brian Daboll is indirectly saying he don't really bang with Daniel no more.
He ain't rocking with him.
But if they do keep Daniel Jones, I think you stand pat. But I think if they do stay pat, my bad. If they do stay at the pick 6, you pick a receiver because you need a weapon. You have no outside weapons at all unless you're going to trust Jalen Hyatt, who you drafted last year from Tennessee. But for me, I think the Giants ultimately should trade back and get more assets and get more picks and build that team and then move on from there.
100%. I'm all in on both things that you said because you have once again zero weapons on your offense. If you go get one wide receiver, it ain't going to be enough
Right.
because you still have no run game established. And Daniel Jones, he still might be running for his life due to the offensive line being bad. Go get yourself some more picks and keep building from there, and just try to game manage as much as you can. Well, the good problem that they have is you need weapons and you need offensive line help. Both things that is deep in the draft this year. Trade back, keep hit on your picks, and make Daniel Jones game manage. And hopefully he buys it. And you need to put some more time in because you've seen Dable eat through the damn iPad at his ass. Hey, bro.
Fact.
So yeah, trade back and go from there, bro.
Gotcha. All right, the Eagles had a big off season so far in the NFC free agency, leading up to the draft next week. They went 11-6, but they also had a big fall off after losing the last 6 or 7 games of the season, including the playoff game against the Bucks. But they lost DeAndre Swift, Hassan Reddick, Kevin Byard, Jack Driscoll, Fletcher Cox, and Jason Kelsey to retirement, and Quez Watkins, a receiver for them. They added Saquon, Kenny Pickett, Devin White, Bryce Huff, which I think those two guys on defense are going to be very solid for them. And they got back, like we mentioned earlier, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and they got Paris Campbell. They have pick 22. I believe they go DB and nothing else here, whether it's corner or safety. They have no choice with not having you got Bradbury, who can't cover a king size bed, and you got Darius Slay, who is still serviceable but is getting up there in age. He showed his age in a couple games last year, getting toast out there. So I think you go DB, no doubt about it, at 22 for them. What are your thoughts?
I also agree with you going at DB. The Eagles, I just want to throw this out here. Harry Roseman went crazy with his income tax check. Bro. He said, hey, Saquon, it's Howie.
Right.
My income tax check just hit. You want to be the highest paid running back in the league? One of the highest? Come on, let's do this. Let's do this. Yeah. So they definitely brought in a lot of guys. Right. And he cut that income tax check something heavy. But yes, you go cornerback due to these guys getting older. As you can see, like you said, they lost a lot of their vet guys, whether if it was in trade or retirement. You got to go younger at cornerback due to the way the league is set up for sure.
Right. And the thing about Howie, though, which I don't think a lot of people understand and how he does this, he manipulates the cap with its structure and deals that he makes with these players. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people can learn from Howie and how he structures his contracts and with the deals he does, whether it's putting some of the money up there up front for the signing bonus or putting a lot of that money in those incentives rather than getting those cap hits like a lot of teams get with their quarterbacks, running backs, or receivers. You got their top 3 guys, Jalen, Devontae, and AJ. They're only 40 million or so against the cap. And then you got Daniel Jones, who's more than them, and that's one person. You got Dak Prescott, who's 55 million, who's more than 3 guys on one team. So I think teams need to understand they can manipulate the cap by adding that money in incentives and putting it in the signing bonus and not structuring the way they do, whether they front loading it or back loading it so the player gets their money. I think they need to work on doing it.
But I think also, though, they haven't had a cornerstone franchise quarterback last longer than 3-4 years.
Right.
That has put them in that position.
Since
and, you know, and they don't have, like, if the Cowboys, we're going to cover them next. While we are cap strong, we're cap strong due to the fact that we draft these guys who are making impact on the team.
Right.
Howie's bringing in guys from off of teams and also drafting guys, but a lot of these guys aren't making it to that second and third contract. So he's setting it up for he can get out of there. He hasn't had a quarterback who he's had to stick with. He hasn't had he's had Lane, he's had Kelsey, but as far as defensive line guys, they like you had Fletcher. You haven't been. It's weird. They rotate in and out with guys on all aspects of that team. So you haven't been stuck with a whole bunch of like look at the Chiefs. People don't talk about this, but the Chiefs just cap strong, and that's why they that's why they let Tyreek Hill go. That's why they let Gay go. Where you that's why you let Snead go, because you can't pay everybody that you're bringing in. So yes, he is smart with the cap, but at the same time, they haven't been stuck with a good problem like that. They've been drafting pretty solid. Some of these drafts be suspect as hell, but for the most part, they just ain't been stuck like that. They haven't had what's the longest quarterback they've had?
Yeah, McNabb.
Yeah,
and that was a while ago. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to Dallas, who won the division at 12-5 after the Eagles collapse. Dallas lost a lot of players, a lot of starters, about 5 or 6 starters, and a lot of rotational guys that helped out that defense the last 2 years and create turnovers. Tony Pollard, Tyron Smith, and a bunch of guys we already named that are on Washington right now. Jerron Kearse and Michael Gallup as well. They only added Eric Kendricks, inside linebacker, who's I think is going to be good and be helpful for Overshown, who's going to come back from injury. I think he's going to be really good. He's fast. Just hope he doesn't. He's not hesitant off that knee to begin the season. I think you need to keep him out of preseason and then get him ready, started up for week 1. The Cowboys added Mike Zimmer. They got pick 24. As much as I want to go offensive line, tackle, and or center here, I don't know where we go as far as us being Cowboys fan. I just want to be somebody who's an impact player that's going to help us immediately. It can't be a project. I don't want a project. We just can't have that. And I also want to see us, we never do this, but if we pick at 24, I'm trying to see us trade back in. Give up that second round pick or something like that. Trade back in and get another guy later, because maybe the Niners don't draft somebody. Maybe the Chiefs don't draft somebody at the end of the draft, and we can give them something that we can, trade back in there. But I just want us to draft somebody that's going to be impact offensive lineman or defensive line help.
The Cowboys are a mess. We're a shit show. I'm gonna keep it quick and simple. We messed up from the rip without paying Dak with the time that we did. Then we paid him. Now all of a sudden he's back up for his contract, and the cap for the money for a top quarterback is the money for a top quarterback. There's nothing we could do about it. And we got CD who ain't showing up to camp because he want his money. Mike is due up for his money. Dudes is just waiting around and waiting to get paid, and they just don't know what the hell they're doing. With that being said, I know you said we want to trade back in to get guys, but we need depth because we lost a lot of depth guys. So if anything, I say we go offensive line. I like the center, Powers from Oregon. That's who I want, because we'll get back to this running game. Stop relying on this dude to be throwing the ball all goddamn time. And then I say we trade just to get more picks and keep building from adding more depth and just figure it out. Guys got to get paid, though. We're stuck, man. We're a mess.
Gotcha. I'm with you. We are. I don't know what we're going to do, but I can't wait till this draft comes. Start to do what we need to do next week, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to it, too. So next Thursday, baby, we will be live. Tune in. We're going to have the link in the bio up on our page on Sunday. First come, first serve. We're trying to get as many people as we can on there, but the slots is filling up fast. We already got people that's committed to it. They're ready to go. They're going to fill in there sign up fast. Make sure you follow our page on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. We're everywhere, baby. We're looking to build. We are looking to build. Thank you guys for tuning in. Subscribe to us. Follow us. Rock with us. We're going to give you that real talk.
Yes,
I get with you, bro. Be
safe. Have a good one, bro. Be safe, homie.
Yes, sir.